What's up, guys? My name's Roman. This is Rob. He's the owner of Future Home Loans, and I'll be interviewing him today, asking him some questions.
What's up? How you doing? Nice to have you here, Roman.
Thanks. First question, what are some of your hobbies?
Oh, some of my hobbies. So I love football. That's probably my number one hobby passion. I played football in college for a little while and really love the Jaguars, the Knowles. And it's been a tough couple years for me, tough last year. Yeah, so that's one of my first passions, and I like to go to several. I go to all the Jags games. I like to go to road games. I've been to the games in London the last couple years, so that's a big-time hobby of mine. I love bicycling. I cycle. I like to do a couple hundred miles, about 100 miles a week is kind of my goal every week. Ride 3 to 4 times a week. I also, fitness, getting up, walking, try to stay active, try to stay busy. Those are my primary hobbies. And then you saw my boot collection earlier. I did see that. I do like collecting, and I've got several nice boots, leather boots, kind of old school, service boots as they call them, and different types and varieties. So that's
very extensive collection.
That's kind of some of my hobbies and what I like to do.
Well, next question. What would you overall say is your best memory?
Oh, my best memory. Wow. That's a tough one.
Anything.
Just like growing up, being outside, playing. Like we stayed outside when I was a kid. We weren't allowed in the house. So we were outside running around and then coming back at dark, and mom, your Nene, my mom, having dinner ready, and just I had a great childhood. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of stuff, but you
had them values, something.
Yeah, we had the stuff that was important.
Yeah. Next question. What would you say is your greatest accomplishment?
Okay, man, you're hitting with the hard ones here.
They only get better from here.
I mean, right now, I think, we started Future Home Loans 8 years ago. And
really? It's 8 years ago already?
8 years ago. And, we've grown it now to one of the largest mortgage brokerages in the country. We got 140 people working with us right now. And, we work really hard for each other.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody here is important. And, it's not what I've accomplished. It's the fact that we've accomplished this together.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, and, pretty proud of it so far, but we're just getting started.
The name that you're building.
Yeah. We got a good reputation.
Oh, yeah.
We do things the right way, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Next question. You already touched on this a little, but what was some of the aspects of your early life like?
Yeah. Like I said, we moved around a lot. I was an Army brat.
Yeah.
You moved around a little bit growing up.
I did too. I went to 4 different elementary schools.
Yeah. I had 3 in 1 year at one time.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's something.
So, you could probably talk this a little bit too. We moved a lot. We were very, we had a family. We didn't have a lot. Like I said, we were middle class as it gets. And, on the poor side of the tracks when I was born up until, when I got older, but we had everything we needed.
Yeah.
I had, 2 loving parents. We had a good family, and we moved a lot. And you can probably talk to that a little bit. You moved more than a lot of kids lately. It teaches you its pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
I think
it's hard, but it teaches you how to adapt.
Yeah. It teaches you how to make friends with people and listen, and you meet a lot of different people, and you get out of your circle, you get out of your comfort zone. I have a saying about the comfort zone is kind of where growth doesn't happen. So growing up, I was never in a comfort zone. So I grew a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
It was either you had to, and then you just figured it out. But, a downside of that is I didn't have that high school or that elementary school ride or die best friend that's still my bestie I had 15 or 20 of those. And, at some point you just kind of lose contact with a lot of those folks. So pluses and minuses. Now it's a little easier with social media. Kind of the back half of my friends from moving around I've kept in touch with, which is cool.
That's good. Yeah. I swear you're reading into my mind with these questions. I was going to say, next question, tell me a little bit about your family.
Okay. So, we're from South Georgia. My H.L. Kimbrell was our grandfather, and C.R. Lynn. Those are my 2 heroes growing up. you didn't mess with either one of them. They kind of ran Brantley County and Ware County, and, just loving family. Moved around a lot. We got, for you guys that don't know, I'll go ahead and do a spoiler alert. Roman is our newest tech guy here at Future Home Loans. He's helping us build some AI projects with us out of Buchholz High School in Gainesville, Florida. He's also my nephew.
Go Cats.
So he was on my chest when he was a little baby, and now he's too big to fit. He's a big fella now, but I'm proud of you. So, we're close, and we moved around a lot, and we got each other, and that's it. And now I've got 135, 140 people in my family, with our future family. And it really is like a family to me.
Yeah. Next question, to build a little bit on your family back in Georgia, how did them and their morals shape you into the person you are today?
Yeah, so just, hard work, got up every day. My granddad worked the night shift for the railroad. I stayed with him every summer, and he knew everybody. We would go anywhere, and it was, H.O. Kimbrell, good to see you. Nice to meet you. And I was just kind of like, Jesus, did granddad know everybody? Does Papa know everybody? Yeah. And it was so funny, going and you coming along, and we would go for walks and go to the park, and you would go up and meet everybody, and it was like, hey, I'm Roman. What's your name? Nice to meet you. It was so cute how you kind of reminded me of him as a little lad. So, just friendly, outgoing, kind of proud of ourselves, not nervous or scared about anything. We're not cocky, but, we know who we are. We know what we stand for. And, my grandmother would get up every morning when I was staying, and we'd get up at 5 o'clock and go fishing during the summer while I was over there just about every day. And we got up and we did it, and we brought fish home. We cleaned them. We cleaned up after it. And, then we had a nice fish fry. So that is not really, just a cool vibe growing up. Just, not everything handed to you. You kind of had to earn it, but it was everything you could earn.
It was rewarding.
Yeah, very
rewarding.
Good.
Yeah.
Good comment there.
Yeah, it was rewarding. To go back to, I know you talked about you moved around a lot from school to school, but like on the more academic side, how did you enjoy school, and how did it change as you went to college?
So I really loved school. I was
nerd.
Yeah. I never missed a day. I like learning.
Yeah.
I spend 2/3 of my day now learning. So
that's a good quality to have.
Yeah, but you'll notice as you grow up, you're going to hit points in your life where some friends just decide they don't care anymore. And I've seen it firsthand as I've gotten older. Like, people just kind of stop growing and stop learning. And I loved it as a kid. I was really good at, math and science, not so
like my mom,
not great reading. I was slow, and I was one that would read and I'd get 3 or 4 pages in, and then I realized my imagination was doing the work, and I really hadn't read the last 3 pages.
That happens to me too, and it's like I'll be reading, I'll assign reading, and it's like, wait, what's the main character doing? It's like, it's just, and then you got to reread it over and over.
Yeah, I'd go back 2 or 3 pages and have to catch back up for where my imagination took over.
1984 is not a page turner.
It's a pretty cool book, though.
It was all right. I didn't enjoy it that much.
Well, I mean, it's dystopian, but
it is dystopian. It's cool, but it's not the real page.
It's not very far-fetched, though.
It's not.
It seemed a lot more further fetched back in '84 when it came out, or wherever that came out. But so that was me. And then you said, as I got older into college, just things kind of come pretty easy to me. So I wish some of those things on the academic side, I would have worked a little harder when I was in school. I was always really good at test taking, so I never really had to study all that much. And, sometimes you don't push yourself if you don't have to. And, I've learned the hard way that if you don't push yourself, nobody's going to. And you don't get very far. So, I kind of wish I would have gone back and been able to push myself a little harder and not just let it maybe come easy to me.
Yeah.
So, you can get comfortable and complacent. And my challenge to you is to keep pushing yourself.
Oh, no, don't worry. On track to graduate with my associates. I told you earlier.
Yeah, coming out of high school and associates. That's cool. Good work, Best B.
Yeah. When you were getting ready to go to college, what did you originally want to do? What was your initial career path?
Okay, so, of course, coming up, I played high school football and played football in college, and everybody's wants to be a pro athlete, when they're a certain age. And I realized I was a little slow, and I wasn't particularly good on a pretty bad team up in Southern Illinois, where I played for a year and a half. But I also, kind of the other side of that was, I wanted to be like a civil engineer, mechanical engineer, because bridges have always fascinated me. So building bridges, building that kind of stuff just really fascinated me growing up. Every bridge I've ever gone over, I wanted to go back over twice. So that kind of stuff fascinated me. But then once you got to apply yourself, and I was playing football and having fun, and I wasn't applying myself. And once you kind of get behind the eight ball on calculus and some of these differential equation, some physics stuff that I maybe got C's on in today's, I realized, man, I might not be so good at that. But that was originally my passion, engineering type stuff.
And being in Jax, there's a lot of bridges all around.
Yeah, I love it here.
Yeah. I kind of counterintuitive, but what did you end up doing after high school?
So after high school, I played football at college for a year and a half, and my grades pretty crappy. And I decided, well, this might not be the best path for me. I need a little bit of discipline in my life. And I got home, and I kind of told mom and dad I probably wasn't going to go back. And then I think the second day I was back home, every recruiter from each military branch came over. My dad had that coordinated before I got home. So, I didn't have to join the military, but I couldn't stay there.
Yeah.
And talking about back in the ideas of like, what did I really want to do? I always knew I was going to be in the Army.
Yeah.
Both my grandparents were in World War II. My dad was in the military. I go on, just every person I've ever respected had really cool stories, and I wanted some of those stories too. And so, just growing up, I would always be dressed up as a military man, had my Army guys, and it was kind of a no-brainer. I was going to do that, and I did it, and it was awesome. Had a great 4-year run in the military. Learned Russian, got a top secret security clearance. Yeah, that's a really cool stuff while I was in.
That is really cool.
Got to travel a lot, meet a lot of people from all across the world. And the further you get away from home, the more you realize how everybody's the same. Everybody's got the same hopes, dreams, love, passion. They just care about, trying to make it through the day and trying to be as good of a person as you can. That's everywhere. There's some bad apples and bad seeds, different places. But the vast majority of people are just awesome everywhere you go. So I kind of fell in love with learning people, and that, I would say maybe people are my passion now.
Yeah. That was pretty much when I was going to ask how was the military, but to branch off that one, are there any habits or lessons that you learned in the military that you still use today?
Getting up early. What do we do this morning?
You stretched. You wake up at 4 normally, right?
I try to wake up at 4. Been sleeping a little later.
It's ridiculous.
Last couple of weeks I've been getting up like 5:30, 6ish. So that's sleeping in for me.
Yeah.
Get up.
That's getting up normally for me.
Yeah. So I get up, walk the dog, get about 2.5, 3 miles of about 50 to an hour of walking the dog around the neighborhood. I like to do that when it's dark and nobody's around. It's just, it's kind of
you and your mind.
I get so much meditation time, and just I'm free. My joke is nobody else has turned on their Wi-Fi yet. So I got all the bandwidth in the world and walking around, kind of by myself, which I love. And then, just getting a good habit, getting up early, doing more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day. I came and woke your little butt up. Well, you were already up, but
I was already up.
But we got you up, and we did some stretches, some abs, and part of my morning routine is I'll do a little walk, and then I do I call it yoga. A yoga person would make fun of me. It's not really yoga.
Yeah.
But some stretching, and then I do some push-ups. I'm at 986 days in a row of at least 200 push-ups every day.
That's great.
So I knocked those out. I did 60, then I did 95, and then I did 70 this morning was my 3 sets that I did. And, I do a little bit of abs every morning while I'm, doing my stretching, part of my routine. And that's another little bit of just meditation time. Yeah. So really the habit of getting up and getting stuff done early has stuck with me.
Yeah.
The bad habit I got in the military was eating fast, because you kind of have to wolf it down in the military, and I have tendency to wolf things down. So, you get some good habits and some bad habits.
Yeah. Next question. What gave you the idea and the inspiration to start Future?
Great question, buddy. You're killing it. This your first podcast? Man, I'm proud. Cool. So, we were in the mortgage business, and we met a bunch of just really awesome people, had a really good culture, but we were in this big corporation, and the way we treated customers were just terrible. It was slow. It was painful. It was the worst possible experience, and I didn't want to recommend my friends and family to do alone with me. And if you're doing a job and you're not proud enough of what you're doing to have your friends and family want to work with you,
it's not very good.
You're not in the right place.
Eesh.
And then, I'm also one that likes to move fast.
Yeah.
I like to have, when I'm working, I get in the zone, and if I get knocked out of that zone, I could lose an hour. But if I'm in the zone, I'll work like 10 people, for an hour. So I have 10 or 15 screens going, and I'm just dialed in. And then we hit some technology issues at the last place I worked, and the systems were slow, and it just kind of kept pausing, and this thing kept circling, spinning.
It was just
dragging, and on the clock, some people call it, and it was just brutal. And to the point where I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Yeah. We can't be bad at everything else and bad at technology. There's got to be a better way. So I started researching and started kind of looking at things, and about, the crash happened in the late 2007, 2008, 2009 range.
Yeah.
And, the market crashed, and the housing market crashed, and brokers were 64% market share at that time. After the crash, everybody kind of consolidated, and banks were the only place lending, and it went down to about 4 or 5% market share. Ooh. So, yeah, just a crater. And then I started looking at charts and numbers, and I was like, well, everything that goes up comes down. Everything that goes down just comes up. And, I took a leap and decided there's got to be a better way. Let me try it. And there wasn't all the tools and resource sources now to be a broker. Everybody can jump in and do it right now. Yeah. We had to kind of figure it out. I was going through posts and old Reddit columns from 10 years earlier. And there's one chat room I went to that had also a bunch of questions that I didn't even know I needed to know. And I just did a ton of research. And
trial and error.
Let's go. Yep.
Trial and error.
And we got started, and it was, we haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
Great decision to
oh, yeah, definitely.
We've helped almost 10,000 customers now at this point, and can't wait to help the next 10,000.
8 years later, are you happy with the success you've gained so far?
That's a tough question. Happy, I don't know that I'm ever super happy with myself, or I appreciate where we are, and I'm proud, and I think it's cool. And I'm happy that we've done so much. We've done so much, and we've helped so many people.
But there's room to grow.
I want to do more. Yeah,
there's more people to help.
We've got a equity profit share plan where we keep growing, and we double a few more times. The whole company goes to our employees.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's nobody else does it in the world. That's my exit strategy.
Yeah.
I don't want to build this thing and sell it for $10 million. I want to build it and give it to the people that helped me build it together. Yeah. So from that, I'm happy, but I'm also hungry, because I do want to build this so I can give it away.
Yeah.
Because I like to, I'm very, people don't know it, I'm frugal, but also I don't really care a whole lot about my possessions. You kind of saw my prize boot collection this morning, and it's not that fancy.
It's still pretty nice.
It's mostly stuff on sale though. So
it's still pretty nice.
Because I am cheap. But so that's that's the answer. I guess I don't want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely
always improving.
Hungry.
Always improving. Yeah.
But I am proud of our team and the people we've helped, and I've watched people come and do the work and hit the success that we thought they would hit if they did the work, and just the proof of concept over and over. I'm very proud of that.
Next question. What's one decision that you could have made in the past that would have helped future for the better now?
Oh, man. So when you start a company and it's your baby,
Yeah.
every person's part of the family, every person you care about on a personal level, every person we pour a lot in, and every person I'm highly invested in their success and their well-being. But, the hard part is nobody stays here forever. It is a business. People kind of come, sometimes they go, and, just getting comfortable with maybe cutting bait on something that is a problem sooner rather than just letting it linger. I felt like some situations, I'm not very proud of the fact that it got a little toxic and I didn't deal with it soon enough. So, one of the things I've learned is to not let that go far.
Yeah.
If something feels like a problem, it is.
Yeah.
And get rid of it, make a decision and move on and start building to the solution rather than dwelling in the problem. It's incredible once you get some of these problems off, like how much more productive you are and how much happier everybody is. And it's just like you can 10x from kind of getting out of some of these things that you probably shouldn't have let happen in the first place.
Good answer.
That was a hard one to get to. A lot of stress goes into that question.
Next question. What advice would you give to young professionals and aspiring business owners?
Okay. I think so.
You said it was easy. What would help them?
Well, it ain't easy. Number one advice is find something that you're passionate about and you care about and get really freaking good at it.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. You might make it look easy, but I was one of the biggest banks in the country. I was one of the number one, number two every month loan officer. I did the work. And you get really good at what you want to do. And, I showed up and we got into mortgages and I talked to people.
Yeah.
I love talking to people.
Yeah.
They want to save money. I love saving money. Okay. It was like a match made in heaven. I could calculate to the penny how much money I could save them and talk about what we can do to pay this off, pay that off. It was just a perfect fit for me. So I think
the 2-for-1.
I think
two birds, one stone.
Yeah. So I think the best advice is find something that you're kind of really good at and really passionate about. And if you can get those things to be close, that's better. And then, once you realize you're there, then start, I would give some advice, get really good with technology because that's the wave of the future. I would say get really good with people. Like you got to
know people.
You have to know people, but it's not just knowing them. It's like you literally have to invest time, effort, energy into getting to know them and understanding people. And then, and at the end of the point, if you're in some sort of a sales capacity, it's kind of like it's all going to boil down into data, lead gen, and like content at some point. So I would say somebody your age get started doing a YouTube channel and I'm starting to question some of the value of some of the college degrees at this point where, like when I was growing up, that was the only way to have any sort of success.
Yeah.
I think somebody at this point can lean into the company and the technology at 16, 17 years old and be incredibly successful by the time they're 25 when their peers maybe are graduating from college. So there's not just one path anymore. I think technology is the great equalizer, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I think kids, you don't have to know somebody from Yale. You don't have to go to Ivy League anymore. If you're smart, if you're creative, if you got some energy, if you got some drive, if you can develop some good habits, you can do freaking anything now. It's amazing. Great time to be young and hungry.
Yeah.
Old and hungry, not as good, but it's still working.
Starting to wrap it up now. What keeps you motivated?
It's the people, we talked about it on this, some really good questions you've asked, but it's watching you come in for your first day. We got a little tradition. We go and, we have lunch for the first day with a lot of the folks we bring in and just watching their growth. I get to see it through another lens, another eye, and, just people people keep me motivated. People are my passion. Learning about people, understanding, helping, learning how to communicate better. We've got some really good leaders here that are a lot more emotionally intelligent than I am. I'm learning from them about, like sometimes it's not just fight or flight. Sometimes there's something in between.
Yeah.
And so that keeps me motivated.
Yeah. Do you have any big plans for future in this foreseeable future?
Yeah, I got huge plans. I've got like 4 or 5 really big things cooking right now.
Nice.
My game plan, my roadmap right now is 100 weeks to 100x. So the goal is, if we can accomplish everything we want in these next 100 weeks while, the technology is growing and before some of this stuff, we can actually 10x our company. And then if we 10x our company in 2 years, in 5 years, I think the momentum will help us 10x again. So I think if we do all the work over the next 100 years, I think we can be 100 times the size company as we are right now. So that's my goal. And, we're doing some private lending things. We're developing some funds. We want to be able to do some quick, easy, common sense lending that you shouldn't have to do a mountain of paperwork and how do we make it simple? It's all about making it simple, making it effective, being customer friendly, and then being out in the community as much as possible.
Yeah. And final question, the most important, is the future bright?
Roman, the future is so freaking bright.
It's bright.
It's bright, and you can look at it right now several different ways. You can let AI be scary, but it's coming, whether you like it or not, it's coming. It's, you can lean into it and embrace it. And, we've got you doing some projects for us now. You're automating some cool stuff and it's just fun.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's like playing a video game. You can
it's pretty cool.
Real simple. And you can actually affect a lot of change. So future's hella bright, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of you and I'm excited for your future.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. You want to wrap it up?
Go Cats. Go Gators. Future's bright.
Go Knowles.